Watching anime at 50 would confirm everything I spent 20 years learning about human behavior. Nobody warned me at a Japanese cartoon, and I'm just mildly putting that because it's more than that. And I say that with the most respect, air quotes, but show me that same pattern I have been sitting with in real rooms with real people for 2 decades. I want to kind of talk about that today. 'Cause I think some of you are going to understand exactly what I meant. For those of you who do not know me or who are new here, I'm the Tan. I'm a empowerment coach. I'm a social worker. I spent over 20 years in human service working alongside women, youth, and families. This is an empowerment clique. This is where we get a little real, a little fun. So come on in. Let's get into it a little. You know what I realized? Anime is not just entertainment. It never was. At least not for the people who really watch it. The people who are really sitting with it, the individual who will find themselves pausing at a scene because something just hit them in a way they was not prepared for. I came into this beautiful arena late. I want to be honest about that. I was not watching it as a kid. I was not part of the conversation early. I found it in the way a lot of women my age find things that were always been for them. It's like at the right moment, when I was ready, I found enough life behind me to understand what I was actually seeing. And what I saw stopped me. Not because it was dramatic, not because of the animation or the storylines of the action, because of the people, the characters, the patterns they was running, the wounds they was carrying, the way they protect themselves, like the way they destroyed themselves and the people around them without ever really fully understanding why. I haven't seen all this before in the real rooms with the real people for over 20 years. Can you identify with watching something that feel like it was holding up a mirror? Not a fictional character to yourself, to someone you know, to like someone you have witnessed so many times you stop being surprised by it, but never stop being moved by it. This is what anime did for me. Let me tell you what I mean specifically. One of the things I kept seeing in my work, and this is something I noticed early and never stopped noticing, is what happens to people with survival trauma without even processing it. They didn't just carry the wound, they built their entire identity around it. Their sense of self becomes inseparable from the pain. And because the pain is all they know, because it's the thing that have them been most consistent and most defining, even most present. They unconsciously recreate it, like in relationships and choices, and really respond to love and safety in anything that feels too good to be real. I have sat with that pattern for 20 years. And when I watched anime, I saw it drawn out in front of me with a clarity that took my breath away, like characters whose trauma shaped every single decision they made, not because they were weak, not because it was broken beyond repair, but because nobody ever helped them name what happened to them. Like nobody ever gave them language for the wound. So the wound just kept running the show. And a lot of women are living with this. Other people, I'm not saying, are living with this. Maybe you're living with this, not in the anime, in your actual life, making decisions from a place of old pain that you have never fully named, moving through relationships carrying wounds that have never really been acknowledged, functioning every day completely, impressively, functioning without something underneath is still running a program from a very long time ago. You know what I realized? The reason anime hits so differently when you come to it with life experiences, it's because you are not just watching a story, you're watching a map. Like a very precise emotional map of how human beings actually work. How they hurt, they protect themselves from hurting again. How they love when love has been so complicated and so distant. They fight for things that sometimes represent something that's completely different from what they think they are fighting for. I have watched characters on a scene and thought, I know exactly who this is. Not the fictional version, the real version. The woman I sat with last year, the pattern I recognized immediately, the wound underneath the behavior that nobody was naming. Maybe some of you are watching certain characters and thinking the same thing. A lot of women are emotionally exhausted but still functioning every day. Like they're still showing up and managing, being what nobody or anybody needs them to be. And anime, at its best, does not let you look away from that. It puts it right in front of you in color, emotion, with a score underneath it that makes you feel what you might otherwise intellectualize. That is so powerful. That is actually incredibly powerful. And here's what I want to say directly to the women who found anime late like I did, who feel that they showed up to the content after everyone else. Like, it's timing one sometime if you are too old for this, or too serious for this, or too something. Whatever the case may be for this, you are not late. You're right on time. I literally tell you, I'm witness to that. You're right on time. You found it when you had another life to actually understand what it is saying. And what it is saying underneath all the storylines and the characters and the worlds that feel like nothing like ours is something deeply and universally human. We are all carrying something. We are all running patterns we did not fully choose. We are trying to survive that thing that happens to us while also trying to build something incredibly beautiful. And sometimes it takes a story told in a completely different form, in a completely different world, to finally help to see our own story so clearly. That's what anime gave me. And I'm not embarrassed about that for one single second. Knowing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Check yourself so you can be yourself. This is the King of Tan. This is a Power Me Click, and this is a vibe check.